G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I am going to do something that's kind of a little bit new to me, I guess, but I've been wanting to try it for a while, and I saw another lady do this on her YouTube video. Her channel is called Girl in the Garage. Hello. If you're watching, let me know your name and where you are. Love to know whereabouts you are. Okay, so what she did was, and I think there's been a few other people doing it recently, but I'm going to have a go. What you do is you put down some UV resin. This one is the UV resin from Let's Resin, and I'm just using this clear coaster so that I can sort of cure both sides. Because when I use my white silicone, which is obviously much better quality and hasn't got marks all over it, I've just taken it out of the wrapping and it's got marks all over, but anyway, you get what you pay for, don't you? You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So anyway, I'm using this because I can cure both sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop down a layer of clear resin, clear UV resin. I don't want too much. I'll see how that goes. I can sort of spread it around a little bit. So what you do is you put your clear resin down, and then she used water beads. And look, you can use water beads, you can probably use, you know, like little plastic pearls if you don't have water beads. I do have water beads. You probably, if you've been following me, would have seen me using, you know, water beads in those, you know, the floating candles that I did. That was like over a year ago now. And I've still got those water beads. You can reconstitute them and just add water. They're tiny. They start off tiny little hard beads, and then you add water and let them soak like for 8 hours overnight. And then they turn into these sort of jelly type of beads. And then you can put those into your UV resin, or you can just use plastic pearls. I'm sure that would work as well. Or you can use what I am going to use today. Is this? Look at this. Has anyone seen these? You squish them and look, things pop out. It's pretty cool. Just give them a squeeze and yeah. So the little balls that are inside, I opened one of these when I bought it because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I just sort of liked it. I like playing with it. Anyway, I took the beads out, and they've been sitting in a cup for, oh gosh, months and months and months, and they're still kind of jellyish, and they kind of feel a bit oily, so they're coated in some, I don't know if they're the same thing as water beads, or maybe if you coat your water beads in oil, maybe they just don't like evaporate again. Not sure. Anyway, I'm going to use those today. Put them there. So you can see where I've tried to spread the UV resin, and it's not spreading totally. We're getting those bald patches, so that means we need a little bit more. So we're going to keep doing this until we've got a nice covered area, but as little as possible. You don't want to make it too deep, because then when you put these in, you know, the resin will sort of get displaced and come up over the top of them, and we don't want that. We just want the base of the little beads to be touching the resin. So we'll just put a little bit in. And then obviously if you need a little bit more, if you're getting those bald spots, add a little bit more, but try not to add too much. And then what I'm going to do, I've got, as you can see here, I've got my Let's Resin curing machine. This is the one that's got, if you haven't seen this before, it's got two halves and they're magnets. You can't just, as far as I know, you can't do that and just plug one in. It's got a cord plug on each side, so you have to use both. I thought when I first got it, I thought you could just plug it in there and both the top and the bottom would light up, but no, it doesn't do that. Oops, might help if I take the lid off. All right, that should be enough. But you can just move your plug from one end to the other. So I'm going to do that because I want to be able to cure both sides, the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to run my little silicone stick around the edge just to dislodge any little bubbles, because it's quite a intricate little edge here and I don't want any bubbles clinging to it. Now with all molds you have to be obviously very careful with torching them, more so with these clear or transparent molds. You have to be ultra careful not to torch because they do melt quicker, you know, than the thicker molds do. So just be aware of that. If you're using these, I've melted lots of these. I have. And we'll do this, see if we can dislodge any bubbles. There's one. Nope, no, you've popped. Okay, have you popped? I'm just going to have a little close-up look, see if there's any bubbles. I don't want any bubbles to spoil the effect, so I'm just going to see if I can get rid of them. Sort of pull them into the center and then give them a squirt with the isopropyl alcohol, and hopefully they'll pop. But certainly don't torch, okay? Don't do it. Alrighty, I think that's it. Try and get as bubble free as you can. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to pour these in. Now these are all just this one size, but if you wanted to use, you know, the water beads, they come in different sizes. You can have different sizes, different effects. I'm just going to, they're so slippery, but certainly oily. Like when you feel them, they are covered in oil. But to me, they look like water beads. I should actually do an experiment to see whether or not regular water beads, if I just, you know, coat them in some olive oil or some vegetable oil or something like that, will they stay hydrated, or will they continue to dehydrate? I don't want to put, like, I don't want to squish them in too much because I don't want them, I want this little circles to stay round. I don't really want them to you know, sort of go flat on the sides. So if you put too many in, and they may sort of go flat on the sides. Oh, I never thought about that. I'd not have enough, but I think I'm going to have just enough here. It's 2 left, and you can, you know, spread them out a little bit more, I guess. Or I could open another one, but I don't think so. I think just, where are you going? Go over there, go over there. So now I just want to sort of space them out a little bit better. Bear with me, or you feel free to fast forward. I'm just going to sort of just space them. As I said, I don't want to have them too close and squashed together, because then you lose that round look and you get those flat edges. So just take a minute. Just spread them a little bit. Now, because, I mean, obviously you're going to cure the top, but I was just a bit concerned because I've got so many and they're so thick, whether the resin underneath the balls would actually cure. That's why I thought I'd use my Let's Resin curing machine, because I can do the bottom as well without having to tip this upside down. Probably could do with a few more, you know, but let's just make this work. I'm thinking I would like just a few more. I would. And I don't know that I'd ever use this for anything else, so I'm just going to open it up and get those out. Oh! It's like giving birth. Boop. I'll keep them in here actually. If I, you know, the ones that I don't use, I'll keep them in here. Oh, you want to go in there? Okay. Oops. What's that? If you find, you know, there's a half a one, oh, it's like a broken bit. Try and get that out, because that's going to spoil your outcome. Try and get them out. If there's a half a one, I think as you sort of squeeze them and they pop out, there's probably a few that break. Where'd you go? Should check them before I put them in actually, because that one's, yeah, there's obviously one of them's broken in there, so I'm getting little bits. And I guess you could rinse them. If there's one that's broken and you're getting little bits, you could rinse them and get rid of all those little broken bits. You don't want that to spoil your effect. We need a few more. So I thought I might as well do it to the best of my ability rather than have gaps. I'll just open another one. I always say that. If you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. Instead of saying, yep, that'll do. I'm not one of those people that says, yep, close enough is good enough. Do it to the best of your ability. Right, how's that? Almost there. I can't see that they're sort of going flat on the sides. Hopefully they're okay. Clean that one off. Doesn't matter, I guess, if there's a bit of a space between some of them, but oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice and massagey on my hands. Let's go in there. All right, I'm going to pop that back in there. That can stay safe. All right, let's move on. That took a little bit longer than I was planning. I'm just going to clean off my hands now and my gloves. I feel as if they're all oily now. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to just take that out. I'm going to plug this one in here and we're going to cure him. See, he's on. So I'm going to cure him. There's probably a few on the side that are missing out, so I'll do this for a couple of minutes and then I'll turn it that way for a couple of minutes and then I'll come back to you and I'll show you how to do the bottom. All right, I think that has had enough time. So, well, actually, I'll just leave that in there. I'm going to turn it over and I'll just slide this bit of plastic. It comes with it and you just slide it into that groove there, like so. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you know, you could turn the whole thing upside down and then, you know, slide that in there. So, but I'm just going to do it this way. There's different ways you can do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn the button on underneath like so, and then we're just going to pick this up carefully and just pop it on there, and that will cure. And again, because the sides may kind of hang over a little bit, I'll just twist the coaster. Give it a minute, and I'll twist the coaster, and I'll do it the other way. All right, see you then. All right, I think that's had enough. So let's just move that out of the way. Hopefully it has. I'll unplug that, put it under my bench here. Now, let's see if they'll come out. And I've got a bowl because, you know, they're going to run everywhere and they're going to be all over my studio. So let's see if they'll come out. And then, you know, you can use them again. So I'm just using, I don't know what this tool is. I think it's like a dentistry tool. It's not sharp on there. It's just got a little flat paddle. Now you've got to be careful. You don't want to dislodge your base of resin, okay? Because then when you pour your top coat, it's going to go underneath. So don't just like flip it upside down, because then your resin's going to come out. So maybe we'll just try this first. Try the hands first. Oh, there goes one bouncing away. All right, let's just do this. Oops, no, that's breaking them. It's a bit pointy. What else can I use? I've got this offset spatula. I guess if you wanted to use these again, you just rinse them. See if that works, because we're getting like little bits of, I don't know if you can see, little bits of resin that sort of come up the sides. Right, this is going to take me a while. I'm going to have to pick out each one individually. But this is working. This is working. So I will do this and I'll come back to you once I'm done. Okay? But yeah, I'm trying very hard not to dislodge my base. Otherwise, yeah, when you pour your next coat on over the top, you'll get resin underneath. Oops, you're stuck in there well, aren't you? So I can see a bit of resin sort of come up the sides. It's because I had quite a thick layer. I don't know if you can see the resin's come up the sides. But I couldn't really do any thinner because then I was getting those bald patches. But maybe, it's my first attempt, maybe you can do a slightly thinner base, and then as you're putting the balls in, the resin's, you know, going to spread and come up the sides. So yeah, that's probably a better idea. All right, I'll see you when I'm done. So the balls are all out. The issue I have now is because I kind of put a little bit too much resin in. We're getting, I don't know if you can see, but we're getting all this on the sides here that I'm sort of trying to snip away. So I think it's probably a good idea if I do try to snip some of this away, otherwise I might not get the sort of look that I want. So this is going to take me a little while because I basically just want the hollow. I don't want up the sides as well. So yeah, in hindsight, don't fill it up too much. Lesson learned the hard way. But look, it might still look alright. I very much doubt I'm going to be able to get all the sides off. I might just sort of snip off some of these bits that are coming across the top, and we'll just go with it and see how that works. Because there's a lot there. See how those ones, see how there's some sort of flaking over the top? So I'll cut those off, and I think the rest will be, I think they'll be all right. But we'll see if it makes any difference. And if I don't like that, we can go again and not put quite so much in. I'm just going to be careful I don't, you know, disrupt the side. I don't want to break the side of what I've got going on there. Might have been easier just to start again with less resin. It doesn't take a long time, you know, to cure. Probably would have been easier than me trying to trim this, but look, we'll go with it. And then if it doesn't look nice, I'll go again with a little bit less resin, because, you know, when you put your beads in, even though it's not totally covered, when you put your beads in, maybe the resin will spread. All right, I'll just tidy it up a little bit more and then I'll come back to you. All right, I think I've tidied up as much as I can. I probably shouldn't worry too much about the top here because it's only really going to be the bottom, this side, that we can see. So I've just got my little air duster here. Just blow in there. Just in case there was any sort of loose bits. When I cut them, they sort of fell in. So look, that'll do. I know I say do to the best of your ability, but I think it is. It's the best of my ability with this one. Oh, there's a little bit of gel still there. Get out! Chasing him around, a little bit of broken gel bead. Oh gosh. No, can't get him out. Let's get him out. A bit of blue is going to spoil everything. Okay, got it. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to choose a colour. I think I'm just going to do one colour. Just going to do the interference gold, but I have got this from Let's Resin. I have got lots of different colors. I've got green, I've got gold, I've got blue, I've got pink. I think I've got some more up there on the shelf as well, different colors. But what I want to do is I want to sort of try and recreate pearls. So I'm just going to do everything in interference gold. Just kind of sprinkle that over. And then I can rub it in, because I've got high sides here that it kind of looks like honeycomb now, doesn't it? It does. Definitely going to try this again, you guys, with less resin, because I've got all these high sides now, which I need to be able to, I can't just brush. I'm going to have to, with a soft, long brush, I'm going to have to just poke, because I can't really brush in there because of the sides. So poke, 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 and then I'll take it outside and just very lightly turn it upside down and blow out the excess. There's plenty there, but you could, you know, mix a few of the colors up and do different sort of blobs of color. But I think with this one, I'm just going to do the one, and there's no point me brushing over the top because it's not working. And the resin's cured really well because, you know, you can see there that I'm poking it with my brush and the resin's staying where it was. It's not breaking. It looks really cool. Can you see? I've got little holes through all where the beads were. All right, I'm going to take that outside and just give it another little blow to get all the excess out with my duster. I'm not going to do it in the studio because I'll have dust, mica powder everywhere. All right, I've been outside and I gave it a good dusting. Now, I don't know if you can see, there's some little loose pieces of resin sort of still, you know, that I haven't cut off, but I don't think you're going to even see those. I think you're only going to see what's touching the mold. So probably didn't need to do all of that trimming because I'm going to pour white resin over the top. And because I want to do this project nice and quick, the UV resin's quick, the dusting's quick, I'm going to put in the white polyurethane resin. That's it there. That's Resin's polyurethane. This is kind of a clear, but it dries white, and you can unmold it in like 15 minutes. Like, seriously, it's amazing. So let's turn that on. So it's equal parts A and B. But be ready and don't mix up too much. Rather do 2 thin layers than try to do 1, because by the time you've stirred it and poured it, it can start to cure already. So don't mix too much. So let's do, I think we'll just do 40 grams, so just over an ounce of A. Oh gosh, B, I always struggle with B because it kind of gets that. No, I'm going to have to get my pliers out. Bear with me, because I don't use it all that often. I'm just going to have to do that. You know, some resins on the part B, it gets that sort of powdery sort of edge around it, but I should really clean it and put some Vaseline or something like that around it, just so that it, you know, it's easier to open. But this works well too. If my husband wasn't out at golf, I'd ask him to do it, but I can do it myself. Just gotta be careful. If you're pouring small amounts, you know, it can sort of run down the edge there. 30, that's close enough. 39. Close enough. All right. There it is. Which is, oh look, it doesn't matter. It's just over an ounce. All right, so now we're just going to stir this. I'll just put these here so that you can see what I used. I will link Let's Resin's website, their UK Amazon store, their US Amazon store down in the description, like I always do. This is starting to warm up already. So if you go to any of those links, use any of those links, buy anything from the store, doesn't have to be these, anything from the store, you can use my 10% coupon code as well. Now, if you're in Australia and you want to buy from US Amazon, just go to down the bottom, the little person, click on that. And then change from Australia to the US or the UK or wherever you want to buy from. Okay, that's getting hot. Let's pour. And you can buy from other Amazon countries. Oh, that's worked out pretty well, you guys. 40 grams and 40 grams. It's worked out perfectly. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Now that won't take too long. Don't torch again, just, it's very, very thin. It's water thin, unlikely to get a bubble. If you see one, you know, you can like pick it out with a toothpick. I can't see any, even though I've got lots of little intricate things there. It would be really cool to put a bee in there and make a honeycomb, but to show this side, because it literally looks like honeycomb. Maybe I can do that one day. Instead of turning it over and using the other side, actually use this side. Now I'm just chatting away because I want you to wait and see how long it takes to start to go white. What do you reckon? We'll just wait. The deeper you pour it, the faster it will start to cure. It usually starts in the middle first, where it's a bit hotter. The edges have got, you know, air around them, so they tend not to cure as fast. But the middle, where it's got resin all around it, it will get hotter first and cure first. It's like watching grass grow. Is it doing anything yet? Come on. I think it's starting to go a little bit cloudy. I think so. Yeah, so next time I do this, like I said before, and again, just chatting, look, it's starting to go white, I will put down less UV resin, just so that I don't have those sides around, because the resin's popped up between all those beads, so we're getting sides. Look at that. So the edges will take the longest to cure. And then, oh, it's already cured. Oh, look at that. So anyway, I will come back to you. I'm going to go sit down, make myself a cup of coffee, and we'll just wait for this to cure totally. About 15 minutes, and then we'll unmold and see what it looks like. But I honestly don't think we're going to see those sides. What do you think? Do you think we're going to be able to see those sides? I don't think so, because the white resin's going to be in there. I think we're only going to see the bottom. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong. See you soon. It's still a bit warm, but I want to see what it's looking like. So the edges look as if it's kind of overflowed a little bit. I think it's probably because it's, you know, maybe that sort of that deep, and it's kind of maybe pushed out and over the top a little bit. But I don't normally, when I'm doing the polyurethane resin, I don't normally pour it very deep. It's usually only, you know, very thin. So it's probably because, yeah, when it's cured, it's the heat's gone up towards the edge and it's kind of gone over a little bit. But we can easily sand that. Now, depending on what this is going to look like, I thought I might paint the gold edges, paint the edges gold. This is the chrome markers from Let's Resin. You get 3 gold and 3 silver, and they've got different thicknesses of the nibs. So you've got a flat one, a rounded one, and then a little thin pointy one. So I might do that. All right, let's, without further ado, let's get this out and see what it's going to look like. So you got to remember that the other side's going to be flat. Both sides are flat, really, but yeah, the other side's going to be flat. Hopefully it's going to look pretty. Oh, I'm a bit nervous. Oh, what's that? Little dots. Little dots. Does that mean I've got holes in the bottom? I shouldn't do. I mean, I cured both sides. I shouldn't do, but I don't know what that's from. All right. Are you ready? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, look. I've got a tiny little leakage there. A little leakage. But that's pretty cool. Not bad for my first attempt. I can do better. I can do better. We'll do it again. So let's just go around, just because I want to see what it looks like. Let's just go around with the gold pen. Just on the little tip here, all the way around. But you know, if we don't put up our fails, so to speak, how do we learn? I'm not really one of these people that just, you know, practices and practices, you know, on my own and then does it and goes, oh, look look what I did, first time. So no. Usually when you're trying something new, there is a learning curve, and it can take a few times before you do it. That looks really pretty. But yeah, not quite the effect that I was going for. So next time I'll do two things. I won't put as much resin in the base, and I might do sort of multi-colors because I've done the one color now, and because I couldn't brush the surface, I've got like little flat spots where the powder's kind of settled, I think, because I couldn't literally brush it out, and unless I went through each little bubble and brushed each one. So there you go. It's pretty cool though. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and let's do it again, and hopefully next time I'll do a little bit better. So I will rinse those little beads that I've used, pick out any that are broken, and let them dry, and we'll go again. All right? Okay, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of it anyway, and check out Girl in the Garage and see hers. Hers is better than mine, but I think maybe she's done it a few times. I don't know. I only saw the one. All right, take care, guys. Love you all. Bye for now.